I'll be there to lift you from the ground. Don't be afraid, just let me in. Love me and I'll do the same.
Hello
Hey,
everybody.
hey everybody, it's Marquita.
And I'm Gary. And I want to start this off.
We are here doing Vlogmas Day 11, which is Veterans Day. But okay.
Okay. I'm going to start the video off by saying thank you for your service.
Yeah.
All American veterans may hear these words on Saturday as tributes for former service members roll in honor of Veterans Day. And we're doing the history behind Veterans Day today. First of all, what is Veterans Day? While those who died are also remembered, Veterans Day is the day set aside to thank and honor all those who served honorably in the military, in wartime and peacetime. It explains that holiday is largely intended to thank living veterans for their service, to acknowledge that their contributions to our national security are appreciated, and to underscore the fact that all those who served, not only those who died, have sacrificed and done their duty. Memorial Day is the day that is set aside for the veterans who have lost their lives. Is the main thing, and we don't want to get Veterans Day confused with Memorial Day. What is the history behind the holiday? The root of Veterans Day goes back nearly 100 years. Fighting during World War I stopped on November the 11th, 1918. At 11 o'clock, and due to the armistice between the Germans and the Allies, on November 11th was commemorated as Armistice Day. I may be saying that wrong. That's the only way I know how to pronounce it. By President Woodrow Wilson in 1919. It adds a resolution passed by Congress in 1926, according to the federal agency, called for November 11th to be remembered every year with thanksgiving and prayer and exercises designed to perpetuate peace through goodwill and mutual understanding between nations. In 1938, Armistice Day was officially made a legal public holiday, the VA says. Many American soldiers lost their lives during World War II and the Korean War. In the wake of these wars, Armistice Day was renamed Veterans Day in 1954. Veterans asked people to take a knee at veterans' graves. In 1968, a bill was passed which called for Veterans Day to be observed on the fourth Monday in October, starting in 1971. The change was part of a move to give federal workers several three-day holiday weekends. The Navy History and Heritage Command blog, The Sextant, says online. But in 1971, 2 states observed Veterans Day on November 11th instead. The Sextant said, adding that over time, our states did the same. Other states did the same. President Gerald Ford signed a bill in 1975 which pushed Veterans Day back to November 11th, with the change taking place on on 1978. Ford said in the statement that he felt restoration of the observation of Veterans Day on November 11th will help preserve in the hearts and lives of all Americans the spirit of patriotism, the love of country, and the willingness to serve and sacrifice for the common good symbolized by the very special day. What else should you know? Some in the U.S. observe Veterans Day with parades, such as the upcoming one that will be taking place Saturday in New York City. There will also be a wreath laying ceremony on Saturday morning at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in Arlington National Cemetery in Arlington, Virginia. And many restaurants and businesses are also offering special promotions for veterans, which they can take advantage of. And that's all that one says right now.
Yes. I just wanted to say thank you for serving those that died during the war and after the war. My granddaddy, James Speedy. I don't know where my picture is, but I have it's a bookmark, but it's of his obituary, and it says what branch he was and all that. I don't know where the bookmark is, but if I find it, I might do a separate video so that y'all can see it, if you would like to. So I just want to say, thank you, Granddaddy, for serving the country, and fighting for our rights. And I just found out, literally 2 minutes ago, while we were researching this video, that Aunt Margie, which is Bubba Sissy's mom and dad, or Margie and Mark, and Margie, her daddy, Phil Diaz, he passed away. I didn't know that he died. He died October the 28th, 2017. And I didn't even know that he died. So, I'm a little sad and I'm a little hurt that I didn't get to pay my respect to him. But that's Grandpa, the girl's Grandpa. So, yeah, and I just want to thank him for serving and fighting for our rights. And I'll let you talk about your granddaddy. And I also want to thank Gary's brother-in-law, Jay, for what was it, Navy?
Yeah,
for serving the country for the Navy. He is still alive, but I also want to thank him.
Yeah, and I want to thank my grandfather, who served in the Army. He was a surgical tech. He had an article wrote about him in the Chicago Tribune back around 1944, which I have somewhere. Again, when she goes over that, I'm trying to find it and I can read that article too.
Yeah, they're all together.
It's called about the article I think was called Between the Devil and the Hedges, and it's talking about how my grandfather would go out into the minefields, gather up bodies, bring them back to the hospital to care for them, and he did it all night for several days in a row with no sleep, no rest, no nothing.
With his medic.
With his medical cross on there, which the Germans used as a target. So he was always in danger.
And he wasn't allowed to carry a weapon, right?
Yeah, and all he could carry as a weapon was a knife that was about this long, just so he could get in, cut bullets out and stuff. That's the only weapon he had. But now he was a Wolfenbarger, so a lot of times, like during the day, when other German soldiers would see it, even though he's in a U.S. Army fatigues, it said Wolfenbarger on it, and because it said Wolfenbarger, they wouldn't do anything to him because they considered him a German. So he was lucky in that aspect. But he was given the bronze medal. He had a Purple Heart because he took shrapnel in his leg when two of his buddies, which were assigned to him because he couldn't carry a weapon. He had two soldiers that were assigned to him, one on each side. So when they go around corners, they could clear the way so he wouldn't get shot. And on one of the days, they were walking, went around the corner. They heard a mortar shell go off, and it literally hit the ground. They were like 5 feet in front of him. It hit the ground right between them, blew them up, and he was covered in their blood and had to walk around for days with their blood on him. And to the day he died, it haunted him because he felt like it should have been him and not them. So he always felt guilty because they died for him. And it's a real interesting article, and there's a lot of things on him. And I've got pictures of his old troop, the division he was with, and everything. And I can't remember what the name of it is, but the division he's with had the Indian chief on it. I think it was the 82nd Infantry, but don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I also want to thank my cousin Joe Warren. He served in the Army, and I just want to thank all the veterans that have served and that are still serving. It's a bad time out there, and they deserve to be thanked. And the job they do is pretty much a thankless job. The people take their freedom for granted, and we need to quit taking that for granted and realize there's somebody out there all the time fighting or doing things to defend our freedoms. And we need to give them all the honor that they deserve.
Yeah, I agree.
And again, I humbly thank every veteran out there.
Yeah.
Dead or alive.
Yeah, I agree. I second that. I was trying to think if I knew any more, like, personally, that I wanted to, like, namely, or personally thank.
And, real quick, also, even though they weren't veterans, I know there are several people out there. I was one myself. I was going to join one of the military forces because I felt a duty to do that. But I've got asthma, and that was their first disqualification in it. Every division of the armed forces tried to find a way around it, but they couldn't do it. So anybody out there that even had the desire to do it, if they had medical reasons or there was some reason that they just physically couldn't do it and really wanted to, I thank you for your desire to serve the country.
Yes, I agree. But we just wanted to tell you the true meaning of Veterans Day, because the history is slowly and slowly, like generation after generation, each generation, it's getting forgotten, in my opinion. It's not as a celebrated thing, and holiday, and like that it should be, because it's decades old, which is no excuse. It's no excuse. But I feel like some of the young people.
Centuries old.
Well, but that's I was saying, like each generation that comes is slowly getting. I don't want to say less important, but not. What am I trying to say?
I know, I'm trying to think of that word too.
Not respected like it should be. And
they're getting numb to the.
Yeah. And you get taught it in school, but I don't think that they truly break it down to where like people wouldn't take the freedom that we have because of these men and women that served and died, or just served, that are still living, that have PTSD. They're alive, but they're not alive, if that makes any sense. Like, yes, they're physically alive, breathing, but the trauma that they have to live with, and like Gary said, the guilt that they have to live with, like, I don't think kids do, and I don't want to say kids because I know to some of y'all I'm a kid because I'm 33, and then like to some of y'all I'm like super old. But anyways, like, I feel like I don't think the schools teach. They don't emphasize like, okay, like if we didn't win this, or if this scenario or this situation went different, you would not have whatever, freedom of speech,
freedom to get whatever job you want, the freedom to be able to go out and shop and buy whatever you want.
Yeah, have the freedom of wearing whatever you want to wear, and the freedom to
travel where you want to travel.
Yeah, and for women, I don't know if it would have translated to like not being able to show your face, but it could have went there. It could have been like, for an example, and I'm not picking, and I don't mean no disrespect towards North Korea, but I looked at I think it was BuzzFeed, and they did the difference between North Korea and South Korea, and it's like night and day. North Korea, they have free healthcare, but their medicine costs so much money that they can't afford to get the medicine. They can go to a doctor for free, but they can't afford to get the medicine, so it's not doing them any good. They don't have the right to watch what they want on TV, like anything that they want to watch on TV. They don't have the right to listen to what they want, like music-wise.
If they go to a movie, it's strictly the leader.
Yeah.
That's all the movie is, the leader.
Yeah. The TV is the leader. And I say this, like I said, with respect. And I'm only saying North Korea because I just recently seen this, and so it's fresh in my mind. They're not allowed to say what they want to say about the leader. And that's a right that people, if you don't think about, that's like what people are saying about Trump and all this. If this was North Korea, they would be jailed or killed, because that, like, you're not allowed to say anything bad about the leader. So, that's why I was saying, like, the freedom of, like, we are so privileged in America. Not base. What am I saying? In comparison to other countries that don't have simple freedom, food, TV, music, speech, creativity. They have certain hairstyles. They have to dress like XYZ. They cannot eat XYZ, so, or not really eat, but I just want, hopefully one person see this video and, like, just think before you say hurtful things about the country that you live in, because it can easily be taken away. Easily. That right that you're complaining about can easily be taken away. And you try to protest it and you will be jailed or you will be killed.
Yeah.
So, the rights that we have, and I'm talking about on both sides, meaning regular civilians and powerful authorities. I know the biggest thing that's going on, and people are protesting, and I feel like some of them protesters are getting lost. The message is getting lost for certain different things. Like, I'm all for peacefully protesting. I think that is okay. I think that's wonderful as long as there's no violence. But once there's violence on either side, that's not okay. That's not okay. Because, when kids are little, their parents always say, fight with your words, or have a conversation instead of fighting physically and being violent. Because if whatever problem cannot be solved by talking about it, I don't know. Like I said, on both sides, I think people just need to just think before they act, think before they speak, think before they do anything, and think about, okay, if this person didn't die, I wouldn't have that right. That's all I'm saying.
Or if this person didn't go to war and fight for my freedom.
Yeah, wouldn't have this right. Which, me as a black a black female, or me as a person of color, if the North would have won, no, South. If the South would have won, I wouldn't get to be with Gary for one. And the girls wouldn't get to be with Gary, and things would be totally different, because slavery will probably still be going on. And
Exactly.
but hopefully y'all like this video. It's a long video, and I'm sorry I rant and rave, but hopefully you like this video and give it a thumbs up. And please be appreciative of what you got.
Don't take it for granted,
Yeah,
because it can be snatched away in a heartbeat.
Exactly.
Just like your life can, walking out on the streets.
Exactly.
You just like it, it's gone.
Yes. Well, speaking of that, I want to pray for the victims and the victims' family of the church shooting down in Texas that happened this past weekend. I'm sorry that someone decided their destiny, and it was not that person's right to say when it was time for them to die and the way. But anyhow,
I think our country needs to get back and start
uniting with each
other. Well, as anybody who listens to contemporary Christian music, Petra, they have a song that says, "Get on your knees and fight like a man." Because without God backing us, our freedoms are over. Our freedoms, because of the freedoms that we have set a standard that several other countries now are attempting to also give their people the freedom that we had. They're a little tighter than we are, a little more strict, but they're getting more lenient. They're being able to do more like China. They can now go out, buy what they want to. They listen to the music they want to. They've got a whole lot more freedom.
South Korea.
South Korea is the same way.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other countries that originally did not like our standard of giving the people the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
But through the years, watching how we do it, they've learned that maybe it might be okay to an extent.
Yeah,
to be a little more lenient and all that.
You get more flies with honey than you do.
Exactly. But yeah, we need to, as a country, we need to get back on our knees and pray, because this country is sliding backwards fast.
Yeah.
And it's scary.
Very, very.
And if God turns his back on us, we'll be overthrown.
We're lost.
We've lost.
Yeah.
And our freedoms are gone.
Yeah.
Now that, of course, that's my belief.
Yeah.
You all may believe some other way. And I personally, at the current Islam, I personally worked with an Islamic person. And we talked. We compared the Quran to the Bible. And I would tell him what we believed in the Bible. He told me what they believed in the Quran. And as we talked, we realized that we're really not that far apart in what we believe. And when you research it all together, we believe pretty much the same thing that they believe. We just call ours different. Theirs is Allah, ours is God. They have Muhammad, we have Jesus. And when we broke it down that way, and we were going through all the different characters in the Bible versus the Quran, we realized that we're pretty much talking about the exact same people. So it doesn't matter what religion you are, what you believe. You don't need to put anybody's religion down or their beliefs until you can actually sit down with them. Compare your beliefs with their beliefs, their religion with your religion. Study their religion some. Learn a little bit about it so you can have an open dialogue with them. It'll make a better peace between people if people can start communicating and realizing that we're really not that far apart. Even you view it like, oh yeah, they're a million miles from the way I feel. If you could actually talk to them, walk 2 days in their shoes, you find out that maybe you're only about that far apart now. And so, and I personally, and Marquita will tell you, I have some really strong beliefs, and I've struggled. I'm trying my best to be more open-minded, look at things from the outside in, and I do struggle with it. And I pray nightly that God will help me with that, because I want to be able to understand more of how other people feel. And I know even Marquita has not seen a huge change in the way I do things and the way I believe, because when something hits and it strikes a nerve, I drill, because I believe so strongly.
Yeah, and
But I really am trying to back off and start trying to, okay, well, I can kind of see their point of view, and if I could have a dialogue and them not argue, I think we could come to more of an agreement on several discussions. But the way I word that, like on texting, or like in the conversations on Facebook or something like that, the way I word things sounds like I come over like I'm argumentative with them. I don't mean it that way. It's just like, well, this is how I see it. And I'm wanting to see how other people see, but they take it the wrong way. It just makes them mad. So they go back over the same thing over and over and over, and we get nowhere. And I know I've kind of got off Veterans Day, but it all kind of comes around. It just all comes down to we've got to have more prayer, get God back into our life. We need God back into schools. There's too much violence going on in schools, and God not being there is the reason, in my opinion. Or Allah or whoever. We need to have some kind of a spiritual being take control of our lives.
And I agree. Well, I'm gonna go.
That got long. I'll talk to you later. I'll let Marquita close us out.
Well, I already did, but then we start talking. So, hopefully y'all like this video again, and share this with somebody. It could change one mind, and that might be the mind that would change the world.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.